Hey y'all, it's me, Miss B. Today we are well, we already did dividing functions. We are doing the composition of functions. Okay, yesterday we did adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. And so today we are going to do composition of functions. Okay. Ta-da. Okay, go ahead and write down g of f of x like that. Okay, so that is written as G parentheses F parentheses X double parentheses, and we do read it as G of F of X. Okay, and when you see that, what it means is to replace every X in G of X with F of X, and we'll definitely talk about what that means and how to do that. So here's how we solve these problems. We want to evaluate F of X first, when possible. Let me put that in parentheses, when possible. And then plug whatever value for that into g of x, if there is an x. Okay, so let's go ahead and do f of x equals x minus 5 and g of x equals x squared. So it says, what is g of f of x? So we're going to write this out as g of x, but instead of x, we're going to put f of x inside of there. So you can kind of see that f of x is going into g of x. Okay, so on this one, we're going to skip step 1 because we can't evaluate. I'm just going to go ahead and jump in. So my g of x is x squared. So something squared is g of x. And then I'm going to plug in my f of x into that. So my x minus 5 goes inside those parentheses. So here's my f of x, and then here is my g of x. Okay, and then we just simplify. So we'll go ahead and write this out as x minus 5 times x minus 5. So we want to expand that out, and then now we want to FOIL. So we get x squared minus 5x minus 5x plus 25. So we get x squared minus 10x plus 25. And so that is what g of f of x equals. Okay, we are in standard form. All right, let's go ahead and do this next one. What is g of f of negative 3? So, step number 1 is find f of negative 3. So f of negative 3 is, we're going to take negative 3 and plug it in for x from this equation up here. So then x is negative 3, and so then I get f of negative 3 is equal to negative 8. All right, then we need to find g of f of negative 3. So g of x is x squared. Okay, and f of negative 3, we already know what that is. It's negative 8. So I'm going to take this negative 8 and I'm actually going to plug it in right there. Boop. So then I'm taking this negative 8, oh geez, and putting it in those parentheses. So we get g of negative 8 equals 64. Okay, so we would write that as g, let me write it in a different color, I guess. G of f of negative 3 equals 64. Okay, simple as that. Let's do another one together. Let's find f of g of -3. So let's actually copy these over here so we have them handy. Ah, bummer. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we are finding f of g of -3. F of x is x minus 5. Let's go ahead and find what g of -3 is. So we want to plug in -3 into x squared, and so we get g of -3 equals 9. So we're actually going to replace that inside of here. So we have f of 9 equals 9 minus 5. So f of 9 equals 4, and so then g of, oh geez, no, f of g of -3 equals 4. Something to notice is that these two things don't equal each other. So the order in which you do your steps is super important, okay? So just be careful of that. All right. Go ahead and do this next one on your own. Okay, so f of g of x, we're going to find f of g of x, which is the same. Oh, you know what? I wrote this wrong. I want to write it in my colors. So I have f of g of x, like this. There we go. And I'm going to, wherever there is a x in the equation, I'm going to plug in g of x, which is x squared plus 1. Then I'll simplify. So I get 3x squared plus 3 minus 2, which is, when we combine like terms, 3x squared plus 1. All right, this next one here, g of f of 1. So we're going to take g of x, which is x squared plus 1, and plug f of 1 in there. Let's go ahead and find f of 1. So if I do f of 1, I'm taking 3 times 1 minus 2. Plugging that 1 into the f of x equation and simplify. So 3 minus 2 is 1. So that's what I'm replacing with. So I have g of, I'm replacing everything in that with a 1. Boop, boop. So then I get g of 1 equals 1 squared plus 1. 1 plus 1 equals 2. So that is what g of f of 1 equals. Okay. And we're going to leave this practice for a later time. You can go ahead and try it on your own.